Jonathan, welcome to Human Endurance. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
It's a big pleasure. So to kick things off, could you briefly introduce yourself for the listeners who might know yet your story?
Sure. So I'm Jonathan Guisolan, a professional long-distance triathlete and the current record holder for the 6 hours cycling world record on a Velodrome. And I'm also working as a coach, endurance coach.
And also welcome from my side to the podcast. Excited to be here in person with you. I have a question because you stand out in the sport of professional triathletes because you got into the sport later in your life. So I know you started cycling when you were 22, if I'm not mistaken, and then you got into triathlon even later, which is 28. But then you rose quite quickly. Within the first year, you got your pro license. Can you share to the listeners a bit about your life and what drew you into maybe cycling first, and then what led you to change to triathlon?
Sure. So yes, I cannot tell you the story of the young kid watching triathlon, being inspired, dreaming to be a professional athlete. I watched triathlon for the first time maybe when I was 16 years old, barely knowing what it was. I was lying on the couch, probably eating a chocolate and not thinking 1 second about becoming an athlete and being on the start line with those athletes 14, 15 years later. So I started when I was a kid. I was, to say, maybe less athletic than average. Most of my friends were playing football. It was the main sport, but I was really bad at it. So I tried several sports, but I never felt really comfortable practicing any sports. So later in life, maybe when people were doing less and less sports, I was doing more and more. And maybe I crossed the line. I became a bit more athletic than average, at around 16, 17 years old.
What were you doing back then at 16, 17?
I was just doing sport for wealth and well-being, well-being and health. So I was doing a bit of strength training, easy jogs, just for my health. And I started to have a passion for sports science by watching documentaries with insights of trainings, how athletes train, and so it became a passion to me. And I was already really old to start a new sport. I was thinking of how could I work with elite athletes. So I was thinking about coaching, how to improve athletes' performances. So then I went to the university to study sports science. So at that time, I haven't done any training in my life, like training for the purpose of training. Everything was for fun or for
Staying fit.
staying fit. Yeah, right. So I was already cycling, not a lot, but commuting, going to university by bike, sometimes commuting. So university was approximately 60 kilometers from my parents' house. And sometimes on the weekend, I was going by bike to my parents' house just to not pay the train. So I was commuting on a city bike with flat bars.
No way.
Yeah.
60K, that's a lot on the city
Yeah,
bike.
there's a lot on the city bike. With a bag on my shoulders. And then I found a road bike at my parents' house, a really old one. The frame was too small, the gears were on the frame, and I realized it was way faster. So I could do the commute way faster. So I was doing it for a while, and then I bought my first road bike. It was way faster, and as a beginner, all I was watching was my average speed. You know? So I was trying to do the commute faster and faster. So still not for training purpose, for commuting. Also, I was working as a bike delivery I was delivering food by bike in Lausanne. So I was cycling, but still no training.
Yeah.
And then, as I was learning exercise physiology, I wanted to apply it to myself. So I started training. I started to apply everything I was learning. I bought a power meter. I was starting to analyze and understand all the training data. And maybe the turning points, if I can remember, was watching a conference by Mike Horn. You know, it's an explorer.
I don't know him, no.
And when he was talking about how the life is way more interesting when you're the own hero of the story, rather than watching people doing stuff. It's way more interesting to do it yourself. So it clicked, I think, for me. And I was watching a lot of tennis on TV, soccer. I was really a huge fan of the local club in Geneva. And then after watching this conference, I almost stopped watching sport. And this time I use it to train myself. So that's where my journey of training began. So at university, applying sports science. And then I improved really quickly. And then I was recruited in a national cycling team. So everything went quickly then after that.
Nice. And then, so that was, you were 22, right? You got into professional cycling, or elite cycling. And then, yeah, share a bit more of how that was, and because you could have pursued then a career in professional cycling, right? Or what led you then to deciding, hey, I actually also want to swim and run?
I think so. I was liking so much the training in cycling, but I didn't like at all the racing. So it was for me. It was really hard to race. I was so anxious before every race, during every race. So because of the cycling in a peloton with everyone really close to you, at almost every race there was crashes.
Did you ever crash?
I had not in races because I was way too careful.
Yeah.
I was almost every time riding on the side of the peloton or behind it, not inside. So
Which is also not ideal, right, for
not
race
ideal at all.
performance.
I
Yeah.
couldn't perform because
Yeah.
it's so tactical. So I still love to train, and I really liked the time trials. So the time trial races was the best for me in cycling. Yeah, because I was alone. But you cannot do only this. So I started to think about triathlon. Oh, in triathlon you can do time trials for hours, 90K or 180K. So I started to think about it, but
Interesting.
it was just an idea at the moment.
Yeah, and I'm also curious, like you mentioned, you started getting more active when you're 16, 17, doing the usual stuff, maybe going to the gym, doing some jogging. And then at the same time, you decided I want to study sports science. But I feel like that's a big jump. Like a lot of people are active in general, and not everybody gets so interested in sports science. What is it that happened for you that led you to study that?
I think it was really the documentaries I watched on the insights of what's an athlete's life, how he trains, how we can improve performance with recovery methods, with testing, physiological testing. So I had this interest in human physiology, and that's something I still have. Like my passion for triathlon is really linked to the passion of human physiology, and I really train my body. It's not only I not only do triathlon for doing triathlon, for running, cycling, or riding. It's for training purpose mostly.
Also
Improve
learning,
myself.
improving.
Yeah, see how like your body adapts. I personally also love that feeling of seeing how I get stronger and I feel better, and just there's almost, it seems like there's no limit, right? There is, of course, but really this progress that slowly happens, and you don't even realize until it's there, right? At some point, you're just like, oh, actually, now I'm running this pace, and this used to be like my VO2 max intervals, and now I can, this is my tempo set. So that's really amazing. And it's not like something that just happened. I mean, you just like some point realize, oh, wow, I'm getting fit. So that's really amazing. But I want to go back to the triathlon and how you got into it. So, because I assume you haven't, probably you still ran next to your cycling career, but I assume you wouldn't have swam next to your cycling, because that's not what people normally do if they don't have to. So how did this because you had this idea, right? Oh, I want to do long time trials, maybe in a triathlon, and then I guess there was also COVID, right? You started after COVID to get into triathlon. What happened there?
Yeah, so the idea of doing those time trials in triathlon, I knew I had to try to see if I like to swim as well and to run, and if I could be somehow good at it. So I started to swim. It wasn't amazing. It was so hard because I felt like the water was so cold. There was so many people on the lanes. I didn't like it at all, but I still wanted to try. And as it was something new, I was improving really quickly at first.
So I'm curious, sorry to interrupt, but I also started swimming quite late. I think I was 28 or even, 28. And I also, like you, I went to the water and I really couldn't, I mean, I could do the breaststroke, but I couldn't swim freestyle. I didn't know how to breathe, pattern, etc. I even had to swim with a nose clip in the beginning because the water would just go everywhere. Now I'm without nose clip for a while, but so how was it for you? Because for me, I had to get a coach, and I had a good facility in a pool where there were lots of coaches, and that's how also I started, I think, with a 2:20 pace when I started, and then quickly went down. So how was it for you? How did you approach the challenge?
I think I was lucky that I was already swimming at maybe 2 minutes 100 pace, because we had at university in sports, we had the swimming classes. So I learned a bit the technique, and I think I was quite good compared to the others that weren't swimmers. So even one of the coach said, "Oh, you're doing cycling. You should do triathlon." So maybe it helped also to jump on it.
Yeah. Did you have a coach looking at your swim stroke from the beginning, or did you just watch some videos and figure it out on your
I
own?
watched a lot of videos. I watched a lot of videos at first. It was already so difficult to apply it
Yeah.
because you don't really feel your body in the water when
You
you're
don't
not
know
used
what
to.
you're doing, right?
You don't really know.
Interesting.
You think you do it right, and then you look at the video and you're like, am I doing this?
Yeah, exactly. So I tried several times to have a coach, but not a lot. So I had several coach during as a real beginner, and later maybe a few times a year only. But I still improved by just swimming, swimming more.
And how much then you started? So what was your weekly average? I'm curious.
Well, when I started, I think I was swimming only 30 minutes a week.
Oh.
When I started, I said, okay, I will swim every day. I will swim 10 hours a week. But then it was so tiring. Even for easy swims,
Yeah.
I was so tired after that. And also for the motivation, as I wasn't comfortable in the water. So because of all the people, I was afraid to pass. I felt I was too cold also during the winter. So I didn't want to go to the swimming pool. So yeah, it was frustrating because I thought I would be able to swim a lot during the week, but I wasn't. So I started with really maybe 30 minutes a week, then maybe 45, 1 hour. And then after that, I don't remember what one point, but then I went to 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, now 5 to 6 hours a
Wow.
week.
What made you keep going? Because I'm thinking here that a lot of people go through this same challenge. Like maybe they come from one sport, they're interested in triathlon, and then they try swimming, and they're like, oh my God, maybe that's my case as well. But what, yeah, what would you tell people to motivate them to keep going to the pool even though it's uncomfortable? What motivated you to keep going?
For me, it was really wanted to improve. So I had still, even if it was difficult to go to the swimming pool, I still felt and I could still see the improvement. So that was the motivation. And I was seeing at first weekly improvements, then it became monthly improvements. But still, at some points, I was so interested in what I could improve. So I had so many questions. Okay, should I swim that way? Oh, then I was watching video. I said, oh, I have to do that way. Oh, it will be too easy now. And I wanted to go to the pool to test it. I would say, okay, if I do it that way, it will be, I will be way faster. But then it was more complicated than that. But I was interesting to test different things on the pool.
Yeah.
And I always hope to have how do you say, like clicks. Yeah. So I was, I think, optimistic, maybe too optimistic. So every time I was thinking, okay, I think I can improve a lot.
Yeah.
So I was always thinking of being able to improve, but then it wasn't that easy.
Yeah. And just to get in the weeds here, because I think that's a question a lot of beginner swimmers have, and there's different answers, but I'm curious from your point of view, like when you're just starting out, were you focused on like one small thing on your stroke for a few weeks and then just trying to get better at that? Or were you like, watching one video a week and trying something new? Like, how did you approach the process of breaking down the stroke because it's so complex and there's so many little things to get better at?
I think I was focusing on small aspects for every session, and I liked to watch the videos just before going in the water. So I wasn't testing thousands of different things. I tried to focus on the things I thought would help me the most. So yeah, depending on the sessions, I try to focus on one or two aspects of the stroke. But if I can add also, I think what helped me the most is the time I spent in the water. Because at first it was so difficult to apply what I was watching on the videos. And with the more time spent in the water, I was feeling way more what I was doing. And I was way more able to adjust my stroke. So the experience in the water maybe was the most important part.
Yeah, time in the water.
Yeah. And I guess also just swimming and the volume, right? Because people tell me just need to have a volume in to actually get better. But then again, I think you can accelerate that by really focusing on the technical parts of the stroke. So were you then always filming yourself and then revising and, really doing that? Or how did you translate the videos you watched into?
I wasn't able to film myself because in the pool I was swimming. I wasn't allowed to film.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
So that.
it was complicated.
It's very impressive that you,
Thank you.
first of all, kept going and continue and also improved so fast.
Yeah,
So
Thank you.
such a good guy.
it's really cool to see.
And then, how was the first moment signing up for a triathlon? Did you do? I guess you started like everybody. You started with a sprint, and then you go to Olympic, or did you go immediately to the half Ironman? Or
No, yeah, I started with an Olympic one.
Yeah.
Really to see if I would like it.
Yeah.
So I did it in Zug, the first one.
the nice one I heard.
It was nice, and I really enjoyed it. So during the race, it was so enjoyable because I wasn't going for performance. I was just to try. Like I remember in T1, I was seeing people running, and I was just here sitting, taking my
taking
shoes.
your time.
And the race felt so, it was so nice to race, and I was thinking, oh, it's really nice to race in triathlon compared to cycling, where I was so stressed and anxious. So I said, okay, I will check the calendar, and I will do the last half Ironman there is in Europe. So I found it in Turkey. I signed up for it, and then so it was 4 or 5 months later than Zug. I did my first half distance, and then it was really nice because I performed really well.
No drafting, which is great, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, how can you share some numbers and stats? Like what did you place and when was that, by the way? Which year?
Which year? I think it was 2022.
22. Okay.
2022.
Nice.
And yeah, I ended up in second place overall
Wow,
Wow.
amazing.
in
That's
age group.
Yeah.
So I told, okay, maybe I'm good at it. I will continue.
Have some talent for sure.
Yeah, and I had so much fun because of
Yeah.
the cycling course was really flat.
Mm.
It was really smooth. The asphalt was perfect, so I enjoyed it really a lot. And as I wasn't really good at swimming, I passed a lot of people. It was motivating. It was fun. Yeah.
That's really cool. And how we haven't talked about the running until now. How was that? I know that it's easier to get into running, but then there you have more challenges with getting injured, right? Because you can only slowly increase your volume. How was that? Yeah, that move into running.
Yeah, that was complicated. I was really careful with the running training volume I was doing. I was adding really slowly and slowly the mileage. So I didn't run a lot at first. I was trying to just increase my volume um, for 1 year and really slowly, like 1K increase of 1K per week only. So I started maybe 30K a week and slowly getting up to 40, 45.
Nice. So no injuries along the way.
No injuries for a few years, but then this year I took more risks. I also did my first full distance, and I got injured for the first year.
Okay, but that's yeah, but at least not because most beginners get injured because they want to do too much too soon. You feel good on your run, right? We all know how it is, and then you push more, and then it hurts. You still go running, and then you get injured. So you were really careful in how you approached running, and I guess also from cycling, you such a good cyclist, it probably also translated well into your fitness for running.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Makes sense. Okay, let's switch gears and talk about this year, 2025, which even though you were injured for part of it, from what I know, it was also an incredible year in terms of achievement. So you won your first pro race at Challenge Sir Bani Yas. Did I say this right? In Abu Dhabi. First of all, big congrats. How was this experience for you? Did you expect to win?
Thank you. No, I didn't expect it at all, and I think it's what helped me to win at least. So I was training for the 6-hour cycling world record. So this race was more as a training race to
Really?
get more experience. So also I wanted to have the best bike split on that race because I was
Which you
thinking.
did, right?
Which I did.
Yeah, I think I just want to highlight you did, and I guess it was 90 kilometers, right? 96. Okay, so you did. Well, that's even more impressive. So you did like a 2:11, 13 seconds split for 96. That's super impressive. How much elevation was there?
Not a lot.
No.
It was quite flat, but what was really difficult, it was almost 40 degrees.
Wow.
It was really, really hot.
Wow.
How did you manage to stay cool?
I think the heat training I did was really helpful, and I tried my best to keep cool, pouring water every time I could, drinking a lot, but still it wasn't enough. I was very dehydrated. I was cooked almost.
But you still did it. Did you feel like you faded in the run because of the heat?
I think no, because as I didn't expect to win at all. For me, the day was already finished when I left the bike, because I knew I had the best bike split, and I was just thinking, okay, it's the day is already good. I did it, and then they will probably catch me on the run because I knew they were really fast runners.
Yeah.
So I started really in control, and I could even accelerate during the run.
Amazing. And how did that feel, your first pro win? That's always special, right?
Yeah, it was really strange because as I didn't expect it at all,
Yeah.
I wasn't even sure I was winning. I was thinking, what did just happen?
Amazing. And I mean, also you're in the sport still so new, right? To then already be able to win. That's quite special. Um, I want to. You mentioned briefly your 6 hour world record attempt. I want to dive a bit deeper into that because that also happened this year. So many things happened this year in your career. Um, can you share a bit more about this world record attempt? So you did 6 hours in the Velodrome, and you did the fastest distance, right? In 6 hours, and got the world record for that. Can you share a bit what motivated you to do that, first of all, and then also how the training is for something like that?
Just want to say he covered 276 kilometers in 6 hours, which is an average of 46 kilometers an hour, more or less.
Yeah, that's
So that's awesome. Yes, tell us more.
So for me, as I said before, what I was looking after in triathlon was the cycling part. So of course, what I like the most is riding alone, not because I don't like people, but because I want to see how far and how fast I can go just with the energy I'm producing with my legs. So I like to ride for a really long time, as fast as possible. On roads, I don't have to brake or stop. So that's what I like in triathlon. But then in triathlon, you have to swim before, then you have to run after that. So we can go full gas.
Yeah.
So those challenges that I really was looking for. And also in long distance triathlon, we say it's draft illegal, but actually it isn't. It's drafting limited. It's either 12 meters or 20 meters. So it still has impact. And also with motorbikes, it has impact. So on races, sometimes I was a bit frustrated because I thought, I think I rode really well, but I'm not even close to the fastest bike split. I want to know, I think I'm one of the best cyclists in triathlon, but I cannot see it in the bike splits. So I wanted to test it only on the bike, and so I came to the idea of doing the 6 hours.
Why 6 hours? Is there a reason behind?
The reason is because it's close to what I train for in triathlon. So also it was the 6 hours was the most competitive one, I think. So there was lower distances. I also broke a few other distances like the 100K, 100 miles, and 200K world record.
Wow, awesome. During this attempt?
During the attempt,
I love it. Wow.
but as it was
Sick.
less competitive for me, the 6 hours was more true challenge.
Yeah. Are you now in the World Guinness record book?
I think it will be on the next one.
Amazing, cool. It's like every child's dream, I feel, at least for my generation.
Yeah, could you share how long is the loop that you do in the velodrome?
Yeah, it's 250 meters.
Oh my God.
So
If-
that's like half a track.
Yes,
Almost,
yeah. So I had to do more than thousands of loops.
Wow. And how, I'm just so curious, like, first of all, what kind of bike are you using for that? Are you using a special velodrome bike like that you use for indoor cycling? And then also, how did you fuel for that, and how did you not get dizzy?
Yeah, I used the same bike as I used in triathlon.
Okay.
So there's different categories. For the records, I was in the category with the normal traditional bikes, but I also have the record for every category.
Wow. Even though you didn't have a especially because there's the special indoor.
Yeah, you can do with
Yeah.
a track bike, which is a bit faster because there's less pieces on the frame. But also on the track bike, you always have to keep going with your legs. You cannot relax at all. So I was scared of that. That's why I choose to have a triathlon traditional bike.
Wow. And again, like how you're so 6 hours, you're just turning basically. And I guess your mind at some point goes places. How do you stay focused and you're not getting yeah, you're not falling? Because sometimes I do have this when I ride my TT. Maybe I shouldn't say that in front of you because you're getting scared, but like riding and you just get so into the flow that sometimes you're like, oh, I need to focus on the road. So how did that how was that?
Yeah, it was mentally really difficult, but I really had to focus every time because otherwise I would have fallen. I had to focus on the line. So there's the black line that is the 250 meters line. And if I ride higher than this line, I'm covering more distance, but it's not counting on the record. Each lap, wherever I ride, it's counting 250 meters. So if I want to lose less distance, I have to be the closest as possible as this line. And it's really difficult to hold the aero position, be the closest as possible to the line. On the turns, you're almost you're really
Yeah, you're not flat, right? You're kind of turning and you're like
yeah. So I had to concentrate at every second. I was really concentrated, and I think it was some of the most difficult part. It was this mental focus that I have to have.
And what was your power output for those 6 hours?
So I didn't have a power meet a bike computer, so I didn't record it during the attempt. But during training, I recorded every that I could. I was 300 watts to keep the 46k an hour.
Wow. So that's yeah, that's impressive.
Yeah. And I'm really curious, why did you choose not to have a power meter for the attempt? Was it a rule or was it a choice?
No, I had the power meter, but I didn't record it because I couldn't even look at my computer. So and also I didn't need to it because in training I had all the data, and I knew the pace I had to go, and I knew exactly how many seconds I had to ride for each lap.
Okay.
And I was in contact with my girlfriend and my mental coach during all the attempt. I had a microphone as well, and they were telling me the time lap.
Okay.
So each lap the time. So it was 19 seconds and something.
Oh my God.
And each lap they were saying if it was a bit too fast or a bit too slow.
So when it was too slow, you had to speed up a bit the next one. Yeah. Wow. At least you were not fully in your head for 6 hours. You had like people telling you go faster, go slower. Did you ever get out of the aero position, or we were 100%?
No, I had to change position every 15 minutes because it's so painful. It's really uncomparable to riding outside. Like outside in training, I could ride for 4 or 5 hours. Every on the all time on the position without feeling any pain on the back, on the shoulders. On the track, as there's the steep angle and the force that's pulling you towards,
So you feel it wrong. Yeah.
you feel it everywhere. It's really painful. I was feeling pain in the shoulders, in the back, on the feet, almost everywhere. So in training, I've seen that if I didn't do like breaks, I say it's breaks, but I was keep going, but just I was changing position out of the bars, and every 15 minutes I had to change the position. Otherwise, it wouldn't be possible.
And how do you train for that? Did you go a lot to the velodrome to kind of, build those muscles to keep you steady, or something else? Lots of gym?
I wished I had done more sessions in Velodrome, but it's so expensive, and it's also far from where I live. So I went only 3 times.
Wow.
And the trainings weren't really successful. Like I rented the first time I rented the Velodrome for 4 hours, and I think after 2.5 hours or 3 hours, I had to stop because it was too painful, and it was a pity because it was so expensive, and I stopped earlier than what I booked.
Oh, wow.
But then
And when was that? Because the race was in May, right? The world record attempt. When did you have this bad training session in the velodrome?
I think I did one 2 months prior, and one 1 month prior the attempt.
Okay. So when you stood there ready for the attempt, did you think you're going to break it? Did you think, okay, I'm like now ready and I feel prepared?
Well, I never knew until the end, because in training it was also, I felt really good for a long time, and then at some point it became so painful and so difficult. So the most I rode in the velodrome before the attempt was 4.5 hours. So there was still 1.5 hours of
Unknown.
unknown. So
You never knew how you're gonna cope, right? Also with
Yeah,
pressure.
yeah,
and everything.
yeah.
And how did you feel for this world record attempt?
So I could take bottles from someone in the velodrome, but I didn't want to do it because I had to slow down. So I wanted to have everything on the bike. So I had 4 liters, a bit more than 4 liters on the bike. It was also logistically complicated. I had something here, a bladder here, with a tube. Then there was something on the back with a tube going all the way as well, and a small bottle in front, and
Carbs.
a lot of carbs inside the drinks. Yeah,
Wow. And how much carbs per hour do you take?
it was only 100 grams per hour.
Oh, and why did you choose not to take more?
Because it's otherwise it will have taken place in the hydration volume. So I wanted more liquid. But yeah, it was enough.
Yeah, in the end, it was enough.
So just if I can add trainings I did on the road, because I didn't ride a lot in the velodrome, but I was riding a lot outside for hours without stopping by doing kind of laps between 2 roundabouts. So I was doing trainings for 200 kilometers for 5 hours without stopping. So even if it was on the road, I found some place.
Where?
Fabi wants to go.
Yeah, you have to find two roundabouts, and then so it's 5 kilometers one way, 5 kilometers back, and I can train. So I always ride there. Almost every session I go there, even if it's low intensity. I go there for hours because I can have a lot of quality. I don't have to stop if I want. I just have to turn around.
Is it flat?
It's flat. It's really nice to train. So I could mimic a bit the effort,
Yeah.
The only thing that I didn't have there was the inclination of the velodrome. So
Yeah. But for the mental training, it makes sense because you're just in a loop
yeah,
and constantly doing the same.
And you have to like also be able to hold this power for a long time without really easing off, because I mean that in races, right, sometimes when I like do half Ironman, you'd have to push high power, but then I'm also always like, oh, there's a turn I can like quickly, relax, and then you push again. So it's different that you continuously have to push this 300 watts. That's really intense.
Yeah.
I don't know how do your legs feel in general. The attempt were they shaking? Probably.
I think I didn't really feel the legs because the pain elsewhere was so high.
The back was the worst,
Yes,
I
yeah.
guess.
Cool. And so you also then did the challenge rough this year, right? Your first full distance.
Yeah.
Are you you've been doing a half until then, and now your first full. I know you had a bit of a pain or injury on your foot, so it didn't go as well. Can you share a bit more about that race, and also if you're pursuing now also career in the longer distances?
Yeah. My goal is to go for longer distance, only to be able to ride for longer time. So for the swimming, it wasn't complicated to go for the twice the distance. For cycling, it was just better for me. But the running, of course, it's way more difficult. Having to run the marathon at the end on your joints, it's really hard as well. On the muscles, if you don't have a lot of volume, which I didn't have a lot, I was only running like 50K a week,
Well, yeah.
which is really low. So it was really difficult at the end. So I'm planning to do more full distances, but I have to increase my running volume, I think, to be more ready.
Slowly, yeah. And how was the race itself? Because I've done it too and I loved it.
Yeah,
And how was it for you as a pro racing it?
it was really nice. I liked the course. It was the first time I do the 180K, and for me, it passed so quickly.
It was the dream.
It was the dream. Yeah, it wasn't even long enough. I wanted to one more loop, and it was maybe a bit too hilly for me. I prefer the really flat courses, and there was also the race ranger. It was the first time I was racing with race ranger. It was nice to having it. So
But then also you always have to overtake, right? If the light blinks.
yeah. But I don't usually find a place in a group because as I swim slower than the most of the others, I tend to ride almost all time alone.
Cool. Let's talk training. I think something very special about you is that you're self-coached. I think maybe a lot of athletes in the beginning are self-coached and don't really work with a coach, but then eventually when people move up, they usually get somebody to support them, and you're still self-coached and you're doing super well. So that's really cool and different. What do you think, first of all, are the biggest advantages of being self-coached, and then the biggest challenges of being self-coached?
So the biggest advantage is to be able to know how I feel in real time, so I can adapt in real time the trainings, the sessions. I think that's what helped me the most during my all my career. But I think it's also the disadvantage of being self-coach is that if you are able to adapt the sessions in real time, you're always thinking, okay,
What could I change?
what can I change and should I adapt? So at the end, it's too much time consuming and energy consuming. So that's something that's an advantage on one side, it's disadvantage on the
Yeah.
other.
And I just want to jump in quickly. What is the main reason why you chose to be self-coached?
Because I was interested in coaching before being an athlete. for me, also a challenge as a coach. Yeah, it's a coaching challenge to be able to coach professional athlete.
But how is it like? Because sometimes, coaches, they push the athletes in a certain way and they have this plan that the athlete, maybe doesn't know. And how does that work with you? How can you, as your coach, take this hat and push you as an athlete?
I think I was managing it a lot during the past years, and I was really careful. Maybe the coach side was winning. I was really careful on what I was doing, being sure to be sure to have enough rest. And only this year I decided to take more risks, and it was worth it because I won a race. I had a world record, but then also the other side was it was the first year I got injured, so maybe this year I took too much risks. So it's you always to have a balance between it.
Yeah, you're always riding the line, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you can only find out if you can do it. If
Mm.
you eventually can't, then you're like, okay, need to go back to the drawing board. And I want to ask also a very specific question. So I also was self-coached for most of my time. So I ran in college. I did cross country and track, and then from there on, kind of didn't work with a coach until this year. So it was 10 years of that, and it worked in some ways, but I feel like I really struggle sometimes to give myself rest. Yeah, I think you have this bias of thinking, no, I should always go more. And I realize with a coach now that I am taking more rest, because if he tells me, no, take this day off because you're feeling this, you're feeling that, I kind of like, okay, he must know. How do you deal with that? Like, how do you know really deep down when should you rest and when should you push?
I think for me it's not a problem. I'll always my way of coaching also other athletes is really careful and also always being able to recover. So
Big focus on recovery.
yeah. So I want to do the less possible with the best outputs. So I'm always trying to do less. When I'm coaching someone, I always try to give them less sessions, less time of training, to be able to recover better.
Yeah. Nice. And can you share a bit more about your coaching training philosophy? Like, how do you coach yourselves? Like, what are sessions that you do? Yeah, maybe, I mean, and also especially curious about cycling, since you're
Yeah.
such a good cyclist. What's some sessions that you really like to do? And then also for swimming and running.
Cannot say I have a coaching philosophy that's that way. I think it's more really always changing. Maybe the only thing that is always there is the individualization and taking every athlete for differently, coaching them, individualizing everything. We're all different. I think that's the main aspect I have on my coaching philosophy. And then after that, always thinking of what can you improve, what will suit this athlete the best for that specific thing, that specific race, that specific period of the year. So always rethinking the sessions for each athlete.
And now to your specific training, like how, I mean, I guess now you're in off season, but like when preparing for a race, how do some bike sessions look like that you do? And also some run sessions. Do you do like double bike session, double run sessions, or how does a typical week look like?
I don't usually do double sessions, but I often do 2 or 3 sports per day. And on the bike sessions, I like to go for really long trainings and really constant. So I'm always using the loop I was talking about before. So I think I have a lot of quality when I training in cycling. But then on the other side, as cycling is my strength, it's my best discipline of the three. I'm not training really hard, like in swimming or running, but I still have like a lot of high endurance sessions for hours, 3 to 5 hours, almost non-stop, around 300 to 320 watts. So it's not hard, but I think it's giving a lot of benefits.
Working on that base aerobic engine.
Yeah.
And then for running, how do the sessions look like? Because I feel like they're also, since you're quite new, you must have way more improvements potential still. So how do those sessions look like?
I do a lot of treadmill sessions.
Oh, interesting.
I think for me, it's where I can do the more work. It's easier for me mentally
Oh, really?
to work hard on the treadmill.
Interesting.
Oh, wow. That's like, I think, contrary to everybody else.
But so I do. It depends. I do really a lot of different intervals. But as I don't have a lot of volume in running, most every sessions is pretty intense.
Quality sessions.
Yeah.
Interesting.
You don't do a lot of easy. I guess you have to, well, maybe then one long run, easy run, and the rest is like all tempo, VO2.
Yeah,
threshold stuff.
that's almost this.
Yeah.
Are you also doing uphill treadmill stuff?
Not really often.
Not so much. Okay. A fun fact, like we spoke with a professional trail runner. Was it her that told us about this? The uphill treadmill?
It was a professional trail runner, yeah. It
Yeah.
was, Hans, yeah.
Ah, it was Hans. Yes, true. It wasn't Jasmine. So we had a professional trail runner, very good guy, and he's been up and coming the last year or so. Also really young, and he told us that like the key for him is to do uphill treadmill running because it's a different kind of force, right, on your legs. So it kind of doesn't build as much strain as if you would be continuously doing stuff on the street. So. Or on the flat.
Yeah.
So maybe some ideas for you.
I actually do sometimes uphill treadmill, and it's so hard. I'm like sweating a lot, and I'm almost dying. So, but it's, I guess, for effective.
I will try. Yeah.
I'm also curious. What is your take on strength training? Is this something you focus on?
I don't focus for myself. I think it's really interesting, but I think for me it's not something I have to focus on. Also on the bike, I have a really low cadence that suits me.
How low?
Bruna also has quite a low cadence, and we talked about this the other day in a podcast. That she's very low, so I'm curious to hear how low are you.
Yeah, now it's around 76 to 80.
Okay, normal range.
Yeah.
I'm lower than that. I think it's a
Yeah.
problem.
How much?
I'm like in the high to mid 60s that I
Yeah,
feel
okay, really
most
low, yeah.
comfortable.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
doing it a lot when I was only cycling. I was riding around 65, 70
Yeah.
RPM. And I think it helped me a lot doing this with a higher force input.
Yeah.
But I guess running off the bike, you have your legs fresher too, or like it helps to have a higher cadence.
Yeah, I think it helps, but if you're really used to it, maybe you can say it's okay. Actually, if you're really used to it, it's actually okay.
Yeah, it's all about how you train, right?
Yeah.
But it's interesting. I'm trying to figure out, I don't know if you know the answer, but like, why would it be that different people would have different cadences that they feel most comfortable in, especially in cycling? Like, is that just, how long your legs are? And do you know any insights there?
No, I don't. I cannot tell you. I don't know. But then it's always on how you train. Then if you start training with low cadence, if you keep doing this, it becomes more comfortable, and then it's difficult to change it, I think.
Yeah, it's also neurological, right? To actually be able to have that skill of going faster or slow. So, we talked about you being self-coached, but I also know from you that you work with a mental coach. Could you share a little bit why you choose to work with a mental coach? And then what do you do? What are you learning or working on with the coach?
Sure. So I think mentally I'm really good in training to push myself to keep going to do the work I have to do. But then it's a limit for everyone in races. Of course, when you're trying to go as fast as possible, the first limit will be your brain. So it's always something you can try to work on to improve, and some are better than others. And for me, I think I'm really good mentally on training, but on racing, I don't know if I'm really competitive enough. That's really a mindset of competition against others. What drives me is more internal competition. I want to improve. I want to be better every day. So for me, it's harder to to have the drive of beating the others. Of course, I have it, but I think I don't have it enough. So I'm working with my mental coach to try to have more this drive and be able to use it.
And what are some things, or how do you work on this?
There are some things we do like anchoring. I don't know if
Anchoring. I've heard of it, but please explain.
So we try to put myself in a moment. I remember that I had the grit to to catch someone. Really, that grit was really high. The competitiveness was really high. I tried to remember this moment to really put myself in the moment, how it felt, how was the weather like, trying to feel every sensation of that moment, and then you try to synchronize it with a gesture. It could be a gesture with your hands, trying to link how do you say a gesture, physical gest with these sensations, and you try to do it. We're trying to do it a few times a week to really anchor this feeling, and then the goal is to releasing it during races by doing the gesture that you associated to it.
Super interesting.
And has it worked?
It worked.
Most important question.
Yeah.
Super interesting.
Nice. Yeah, I feel like the mind is also are equally to be trained. I think there's so much, especially on the level that you're competing in. It must be, you know, any marginal gains must be improved, and that matters also
Yeah.
where you can get those gains. So that's super interesting. We're getting close to the end, and I just wanted also to hear from you a bit what your plans are for the upcoming season. You said you want to do more long stuff. Is also qualifying for Kona a dream of yours?
Yeah, that's my main goal in triathlon, is to qualify for Kona, race there, and then to perform there. So I think it's a race that I dream about, and I think I can perform really well one day. So next year I will try to qualify for it, but I will only try it if I'm ready, especially with my running volume, if I can get it high enough again.
What do you think is high enough? What are you aiming for?
um, there's no threshold. I think if I can get
Good time.
without injuries, that's already the good point.
Yeah.
But then I want at least 60 kilometers per week, which isn't really high, but at least 60 kilometers per week. I would like to.
Always depends on the person, anyways.
Yeah.
And I mean, also again with WOD, you have to be running well off the bike, right? Not stand alone. So you need to also work on the bike well enough to be able to do the run. The run should feel not that hard.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, do you have already a race in mind where you want to qualify?
Maybe Brazil.
Yes.
Maybe, yeah.
Nice.
Cool.
It's in July.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Super awesome.
And also I have another goal. Maybe I will try to beat the 6-hour world record in cycling, but on the road.
Oh, your
Which
own
is
record,
different.
or is that the different record? I guess
It's a different because the other one is on the Velodrome,
yeah.
and as the main limit was more the pain of the uncomfort on the Velodrome, Now I want to go more on the physiological limit, what I can push, being more on that limit. So that's why I want to go on the road.
Do you have a place in mind? And it must be a track, like a race course for Formula One, probably, or something like that.
That's a different type. I want to do it in open road.
Okay.
So you have to have different turns, several turns. If you don't have enough turns, it counts at an outdoor velodrome.
Okay.
That's another category.
Really
Maybe
cool.
I will try it as well.
How do you organize that then, with cars and everything?
It's a bit complicated. There's the World Ultra Cycling Association that helps you with it. But then you have to have a crew, a team to help you with.
So it will be closed roads.
No, it will be on open roads.
So cars will be there too.
Yeah.
Oh wow, okay.
Be careful. All right. So we have one last question for you. So one thing that we always do on the podcast is asking our guests for advice for others. And what I want to ask you is, you started your journey kind of rather late, at least for a professional of your level, and you already got a world record, and you've been super successful as a pro so far. There are many people listening who might be thinking they're also too old to start a new sport. What would be your one piece of advice for them?
Yeah. First of all, it's never too late to start anything, and it's never too late to improve. So maybe focusing on the improvement, it's really motivating. So it's never too late, and even if you start something late, don't rush it. Go step by step, listen to your body, and that's the only way you'll be able to continue the for longer period.
Nice, very good advice. And yeah, last question. Where can listeners find you if they want to contact you or learn more from you?
They can find me on Instagram. It's on Jonathan Guisolan.
We'll add that to the comment or to the show notes so people can find you. But I think it was a really nice conversation. And also, just to mention, it's interesting because you're half Swiss, half Brazilian, and Brazilian and Swiss. So I think it's a nice
Oh, if you're represented.
combination. So thanks so much for joining.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. It was nice.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Human Endurance. We hope you have enjoyed this episode. If you like the show, don't forget to rate it and hit the subscribe button whatever you're listening to it. This helps us to reach a bigger audience. Thank you and see you next time.